What is up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Diaries podcast with your host, Ali Garza. It is currently 1 in the morning. I guess we're gonna just start off this episode with a little trauma dump before we get into the really tough conversation that we're gonna have today, which you can see from today's episode title. But I am exhausted out of my mind. I have to work a double tomorrow, and I did not want to film an episode at all this week because life has been crazy. I'll really dive deeper into that at the end of this episode because I don't want my intro to be like 30 minutes long and then like the actual conversation be like 5 minutes. No, it's just been a lot, okay? I've been just tired, but I'm just letting it be known that I love you guys so much that I'm still pulling through, okay? I said I want to be consistent for this podcast and I'm keeping my word. So if you're like, damn, this bitch is literally all out of place and stuff like that, it's because I don't intend to edit this episode at all. I'm just gonna speak my mind. I'm just a bitch with a microphone. That's really all that it is. When people ask me, what do I do? Or my passion is when it comes to social media, I'm like, I'm just a bitch with a microphone. Like, so if you don't like that, make podcast equipment more expensive. I don't know. I literally blow dried my hair, so I'm feeling very cunty. I'm in my Betty Boop blanket for people that are visually watching this episode, and for those that are just listening, I'm very snuggled up in my sheets. This is like honestly so comfortable. I might just do all my episodes like this because I'm having a blast like this. But yeah, I have my matcha drink here and we're just gonna try to pull through, okay? Because I really want to have this conversation because there has been a TMZ report for all the people I'm sure that's been keeping up with the Cassie and Diddy case with the trial. Um, there has been a basically a report when it comes to Justin Bieber and his team, basically saying that he's not a victim of Diddy and that he, doesn't claim that. He doesn't claim to be a victim of Diddy, and I don't think he's going to even testify or share anything that he was a part of when it comes to hanging around Diddy. Because anyone who would know or keeps up with Diddy or just Justin Bieber, like that's a whole rabbit hole to even get into. But there was a video resurfacing on TikTok or just online of them, like a video of like Justin when he was very, very young, and then Diddy being like, oh, he's gonna have 48 hours with Diddy. It's gonna be a crazy time. We can't even talk about what's being done. And then for us to now know what was going on behind the scenes with Diddy and his parties, of course, a lot of people are raising eyebrows when it comes to Justin Bieber. And it's like, oh my gosh, we know that he has basically like told us, but not told us like verbatim. Like he showed us signs that he was taken advantage of in the industry, like especially with the Yummy music video. It has a lot that's like not directly said but indicated. So of course a lot of people are like, he's a victim of it, he's a victim of Diddy, he's a victim of Diddy. And then Cassie went on she's on trial and like basically testified. I said she's on trial, she testified. This is why I should edit. But Cassie testified against Diddy and all that she basically dealt with being in a relationship with him and what she was forced to do and just the amount of abuse that she dealt with when it comes to Diddy. Of course, there was that very like heartbreaking elevator lobby video that, went viral of like what Diddy did to her because he was denying it for the longest time. Like, I didn't do anything to her, I didn't do anything. This is just all he say, she say, like he say, she say. And then that video just basically made him look like, oh, damn. And then like so many more just talk show just interviews in general with Diddy where he was just like flat out just saying how crazy his parties were. Like, it's the way that everything was in plain sight. So keep that in the back of your mind. So then when Cassie testifies against Diddy and all the disgusting things that she dealt with when it comes to Diddy, I think the most disgusting thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, which is influencing me to really make this episode today, is the fact that when it came to a TMZ report of Justin Bieber saying, oh, he's claiming to not be a victim of Diddy. And then it's just the way that after all that Cassie testified against Diddy and all the disgusting things that was revealed, the way that people first instinct was to ask, why did she stay? That disgusts me in a way that I can't even describe. And it's the way that like Justin Bieber does not. Like, even if you want to believe that he's a victim or not, we're going to play devil's advocate in this scenario. But even if we're going to play devil's advocate and say he is not a victim of Diddy, it's the way that people are jumping to believe him over Cassie. Because a lot of people are like, well, I don't believe that she's a victim of Diddy because she was in a relationship with him. She benefited so much of all the money and all the fame and all the power that he has. So why did she stay? Is she really a victim? And that is like the tale oldest time when it comes to like the myth of the perfect victim. Because what is the perfect victim? You know, it's like, I don't understand, when will it be enough for someone to like all the disgusting things that they went through for it to just be justified that it was fucked up towards them. Like, I don't understand why Justin Bieber gets this amount of support, and I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it. Like, when I'm saying that I'm angry over Cassie not receiving the support that Justin has been receiving, I'm not saying to invalidate Justin and the support that he receives from that. Because, in my personal opinion, I believe he's a victim. But, we're playing devil's advocate. But it's the way the misogyny still exists. And I know if you're rolling your eyes at me when I bring up the word misogyny, I hope I hope your eyes roll all the way in the back of your head and you go blind, bitch. Because it is true. Like, misogyny very much still exists. And it pisses me off. Because why are we so quick to validate Justin? Like, but then we're not validating Cassie. Because she's already shared gruesome details of what Diddy was doing to her. Like, there was men urinating in her mouth that obviously she's not consenting to. And the amount, like, she said there was to a point where she started choking. Do you know how much urine would have to be in your mouth for you to choke? And then obviously the elevator lobby scene should already tell you what, like, the fact that was, we visually saw that. Imagine what we cannot see. Because obviously someone's going to feel more confident to do crazy shit when we can't see it. And it's the way that people would invalidate it. They'll be like, oh, well, she stayed. The one that sends me into, like, I want to commit arson when it comes to the question of, well, why didn't she say something sooner? Why didn't she say something sooner? This is why. Like, your questions, everyone, things that they're quick to ask that it's just so shitty, is exactly why victims don't even speak out to begin with. Because the way that people just start breaking shit apart and being like, well, she stayed. Wasn't there a settlement that she took at one point? So is she really a victim? If I slap you across the fucking face, if I punch all the teeth out of your mouth, but then, what? Does that invalidate that I fucking hurt you? No. Regardless of circumstance, like, it just does not make sense to me. Like, someone please make it make sense. Like, how does whatever, like, her staying, as long as she has, invalidates the bullshit? Like, why is it never someone asking, why did he do that? Like, why did he think that was okay to do that? But I think the thing that disgusts me so much when it comes to abuse, it's the fact that, like, for men, like, abusing women, it's like people just, like, deem it as, well, he's a man, so it's kind of expected. I really feel like that's what it really comes down to, because it's like the way that people don't question it enough and don't want to hold men more accountable than it should, like they should be held accountable for. People always just want to start attacking the woman. Why? Like, honestly, why? That's something that frustrates me so much when it comes to, like, abuse and situations. And, like, I feel like people aren't asking enough or attacking the man enough. They're kind of like, well, why did she stay as long as she did? Well, I'm pretty sure she was benefiting with being with him. Therefore, can we really feel bad for her? Like, babes, you are contributing to the problem. I don't get it. I don't get it. And it really disgusted me seeing the comment section of, like, when Justin Bieber came forward and it was like, well, his team basically spoke out for him and basically was like, oh, Justin claims that he's not a victim of Diddy. I would not blame him for not wanting to be a part of that. Like, Justin got enough shit. Like, I wanted to make today's episode ironically about Justin and the hate campaign that's been about him and Haley. I feel like my takes are so hot, like I'm gonna be in the pits of fire hell, like the internet hell that y'all will put me in. Like I would, like, you ever see those TikToks where like your face on a corner, they're like, "Oh, I'm on timeout because I caught feelings." Y'all are gonna put me on timeout for the thoughts that I have when it comes to the hate campaign, when it comes to Justin and Haley Bieber. Like truly, because y'all are gullible as fuck. You know what? We're gonna save that. Well, maybe save that for a TikTok or for my next podcast episode. But just know I'm on your side, Justin and Haley, and y'all. We're gonna have a conversation about that, okay? But my whole point and everything is just like, damn. Like people, like with the whole Me Too movement was like very eye opening as well. Like things like this, it's just so eye opening because the way that like people are shocked on why like victims, like there's so many victims we don't even know of. There's so many people that have like very dark things that they hold within them hearts, and they have to like heal in silence, and people wonder why. Like people would be like, well, why did she, I just wish that she said something sooner. That's what you wish for? I kind of wish that didn't do that shit to her to begin with, but who am I? Who am I to say shit, you know? I'm just a bitch with a microphone. It blows my mind. Like it's so out of this world. How many people were like, sorry. You ever find something like, on your teeth and you're like, ugh, my biggest fears I'm talking. There's like a big like but it's so crazy to me how like the way that like people don't like question the man enough. So the Kayla Malik and Evan Johnson situation, they're TikTokers. So definitely like they're celebrity, like Hollywood, very popular, like very powerful people. There's that type of lore. But then like the Kayla Malik and Evan Johnson, another situation of regarding into like, DV is very like telling to me, because the way like that was shocking. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. On Kayla Malik, like she's a very popular TikToker, and she was in a relationship with this guy for like I believe 9 months. She said, and if you watch her, like I think it was 3-part videos. Yeah, it was 3 parts. I think was it two. I want to say it's three, but she made lengthy, long YouTube videos describing what that man has put her through in just 9 months. And what? Like, I'm pretty sure Cassie and Diddy were together for years, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's even more terrifying in a sense where it's like when you're with someone so long, imagine how much abuse and just like, ugh, not that I'm trying to compare abuse. Abuse is abuse. But when it comes to Kayla Malik and Evan Johnson, it was just so crazy. Like how like when you I don't know if anyone really took the time to watch those videos from beginning to end, because I did. Because at first I was watching a lot of videos of people just breaking down and saying that man was almost killed her, and it was just like such disturbing abuse. I'm like, it's like not that I'm trying to downplay, because like when you see DV in movies, it's like sad. Obviously DV is disgusting, but when you actually watch her video and the clips that she inserted, it was like mouth my mouth was to the floor. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, men are capable of doing that to women behind closed doors. It was so disgusting. And in the way that people are like, well, why does she stay so, like, I hate that question so much. Why does she stay so long? Bitch, I'm looking at you in the camera. Some of y'all, just because that man is not physically abusing you, I could ask you why you're with that man who cheats on you every other day. But then people normalize that, like, oh, if he just cheats or treats you like shit, like women just stay. So when it comes to abuse, why are you asking the same fucking question? Because some of y'all be dating like the most dustiest, the most bottom of the barrel men alive. And then like people try to normalize that. Like some people try to romanticize that even. Like even with like Big and like Carrie, like I've been like I feel like my whole For You page has been like Sex of the City, and then everyone tries to romanticize. There'll be edits of them where he's like, I just want you, and I'm like, babes, like have y'all seen the movie, like Sex in the City the movie? I'm like getting off track, sorry. Like this is unedited. I like edited videos of mine or episodes, because then I just yap, 50 conversations in one. But it's like, I don't know. Like it's so romanticized for women to stay in a toxic relationship with a man, but once Stevie gets involved, a woman needs to like love. Like of course, a woman always should be loving herself. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't understand it. I don't understand why women should have so much self respect and so much willpower to leave. But then when y'all are dating the most bottom of the barrel men, y'all get free passes to stay. Yeah, let's let that sink in. Open the door, let that sink in truly. Like, what the fuck? That makes no sense to me. What? Like, it makes no fucking sense. And like I was saying with the Kayla Malik and the Evan Johnson situation, it's so crazy to me how like that man nearly killed her. So I can't even imagine with the whole Cassie and Diddy situation. That was even more scarier in a sense where that man has so much power. So if I was in Cassie's situation, just hearing all that I was like hearing in regard to the trial and the amount of like psychological abuse and like what was sad is that her current partner, what was his name? Her current partner that like, she's even more terrifying. She's literally pregnant, testifying on the stand. That is so much more terrifying because like you have a baby you have to worry about and your stress level has to be out of this world. And it's sad because there was a point where she was in her relationship. I'm pretty sure she cheated on her like current partner where there was a time where she recounted where like Diddy R-worded her. And then a couple months later, she ended up consensually having sex with him. That disgusted me beyond anything that can describe the amount of opinions people formed around that. Where they're like, why did she do that? That's so crazy. How can it be R worded if you went back to him to hook up with him? I'm staring at anyone who's sitting there like, yeah, I don't see with anything wrong with that question. I'm staring at you. What do you mean? Like, I beg your finest pardon? Like, what the fuck? Like, that makes so much logical sense when it comes to like any R-word victim could literally tell you that like they went back to their abuser to try to regain power from what power was lost and taken away from them. That is literally what like a lot of people with sex addictions would literally tell you when they had their power taken away from them from a traumatic experience. They're going to do whatever, they become addicted to the act of sex, not even from like the feeling or whatever, like whatever you might think a person gets addicted to sex for. It's actually usually the opposite. And it's usually because they're trying to regain power that was taken away from them. And it becomes a cycle that they can't stop. But for Cassie going back to him, of course it's wrong, like infidelity, but then I support a woman's all rights and wrongs, okay? So maybe I'm not the right person, okay? And of course her partner doesn't deserve to get cheated. I'm not saying that, but like, I don't know. Not funny, but what I'm saying is the fact that like it makes sense. Like I'm sorry that if it doesn't make sense to you because I'm thankful that you don't understand what that's like because that's really the most saddest and most darkest feeling to ever experience when you have your power taken away from you in that way and you become addicted to the cycle. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was just that one time that we know of. I don't know. But like any circumstance where your power was taken away from you and you want to take your power back by basically like losing your aura points and just like losing that like ounce of respect and dignity that you have by like trying to take your power again by engaging in that act. Like, yes, it's so dehumanizing. Like, I can imagine, like, I know what that's like. Like, I know what that's like where it's like you went through something traumatic and for me, I became too addicted to a cycle of trying to regain power from what was taken from me. But in Cassie's situation, or like, when it comes to like situations like that, it's so sad when it's like they I could tell you right now she wasn't feeling herself afterwards. Like it's not what you think it is. It's not like, oh my gosh, I just hooked up with him and I feel so good, I feel healed and I feel whatever. Like you're like when we're in a traumatic state of mind, I talked about this in depth, I feel like, when it comes to the baby reindeer episode, when people start reacting on trauma, when they start like just engaging in a bunch of reckless sex, when people that are victims of SA, people go through those things, it doesn't feel good in the moment. Your brain is just acting on trauma, and when your brain acts on trauma, it doesn't 9 times out of 10 make sense. Yes, like to the average person it won't make sense. It's like, oh, that person was abusing you, why did you consensually go back to them to have sex? Yes, to the normal person mind it would not make sense. And I'm glad to you because you didn't experience something like that you wouldn't understand that. But that doesn't mean that it's not valid that traumatic thing happened to them. Because to a person that was traumatized or went through something similar would understand, oh, she's operating on a traumatic state of mind. And that's like sad. That's so like I'm telling you, I can even tell you from a person who can understand what that's like that it was dehumanizing feeling afterwards when she engaged in that. Because in the moment when you're reacting on a traumatic state of mind, you think it's going to give you this feeling of the emptiness, the disgust, like the feeling that was taken from you and all those feelings. You think if I just re engage in this act again, but it's on my terms, it's going to remove those really bad feelings that you're experiencing. And it's sad. I could tell you from my point of view and from my perspective and my experiences that it doesn't. And it's sad. But it does not take away her trauma. It doesn't mean her trauma isn't any more valid. It doesn't mean that she's no longer a victim. That's the thing that really fucking disgusts me is when people are like, oh, she went back with like all the comment sections from very fucking brain rotted people hiding behind a phone screen being like, well, how could she be a victim? Because she ended up going back to him and like consensually having sex with him. Does that mean that time that he R-worded her is immediately erased and it's not R-word? Answer that. Answer that. Because that's what like people kind of allude to in the comment section. They're like, well, because she ended up going back to him and consensually having sex with him, that time that he R-worded her is erased. I don't get it. So it's just like, it's very disgusting to me. And like, it's very just like telling how much people like try to paint what a true victim is supposed to look like helpless, like you're perfect, like you've never done anything wrong and everything you've done or said or whatever is rational. But that's just not the reality of a fucking victim. It's not the reality. When you're reacting on a traumatic state of mind, your actions don't even make sense to you in the moment. For a long time for me, when I was engaging in really like, crazy and like, very risky sex, it was like at that time I could not even tell you why I was doing that. But because I went to therapy and even years later when you gain awareness of your actions, it would then make sense to you, and it is a sad reality. But to a lot of people, even to people that never even gain that self-awareness or go through therapy, it's like, imagine like making those actions and not even understanding why. That's such a lonely place to be in, because then you feel like if you tell anyone, you look crazy. Like, yeah, this person R-worded me and I went back to him and hooked up with him, or still was telling them that I love them. Like situations like that, to the average person who doesn't know what that traumatic state of mind is like, you're gonna look at them like they're crazy. And it's like, I understand that. But that does not mean what was done to them that was very traumatic is erased. Like, I don't understand why I even have to explain that, why that even needs to be explained at all. I don't get it. It's so weird. What the fuck? And I think this might be what I'm going to say is going to ruffle some feathers. But yes, that conversation should always be had of like, oh, why would someone want to stay in a relationship like that? Like, I get that. Like, I don't ever want to invalidate that, where it's like, I don't want women to ever sit there and just like be like, well, I hate when people ask me why would I ever want to be with, like, because it is true. Like, it is true. And it says, it's like, why would you want to be with a man that's so abusive? Like, you should love yourself. But for that to be your first question is crazy. Like, the moment someone tells you this man was beating on me and almost killed me or did very heinous and disgusting acts, if your first question is why did you say, you should get punched and have every tooth knocked out of your mouth, respectfully. But that conversation should eventually be asked, where it's like, why did you think that staying with them is okay? Because I just hit my I just hit my nipple. sorry. I should not be laughing. But I just didn't want me to do that to myself and act like that just happened. I acknowledged it. Sorry if that made anyone. Sorry. Anywho, I think that conversation should always be had, because we should rewire a woman's way of thinking of like, why did you think staying with a man that belittled you so much, that was abusive to you, is okay? Because then once that person can regain or just gain in general the awareness of like, oh, I felt like I wasn't worth, like I felt like this was the only love that was deserving. So if the moment they start bringing those answers to their front of, like, bringing it to the front of their mind, they could finally start to understand and rewire their way of thinking. It's like, okay, well, that's not love. And I think that's my way of, like, I think that question should always be asked, but it should never be the first question. Like, you should always ask, like, why did you think that type of love was okay? And it's not too shame. Like, I don't, it should never be coming from a place of judgment or shame. Like, you should never be asking someone, why did you stay as long? It's, why did you think staying with someone like that it was okay? Like, why did you think love like that was deserving for you? Because it's not. I think those questions should be asked in a way of, like, people being able to rewire their way of thinking of, like, wow, I thought this man, like, you know, beating on me, but then love bombing me afterwards was love. It's not. Like, I think those are important conversations to be had, but it is disgusting when people make that, like, they make those or ask those questions in a place of shame or judgment. Because, bitch, like I said, a lot of y'all are with the most bottom of the barrel men alive. And it's like people don't even bat an eye when they're with them for years, decades, give them children. Y'all not are exempt. Y'all are not exempt from judgment, bitch. Okay, so it's like, if you're gonna judge DV victims, then take a look in the mirror. Okay, and that's really all I have in regards to that conversation of, like, Taylor's oldest time, the myth of the perfect victim. It's like, why is, like, people's experience, like, not validated enough just because they stayed or they committed, like, actions that are not, like, people don't understand. And it's like, I could say that I'm happy that you don't understand it, because it takes a really traumatic mind. It takes people that went through very traumatic experiences to understand immediately why Cassie made those actions. And I'm sorry for the people that understood it immediately. And for the people that didn't, I'm glad that you didn't. But it does not mean you get to jump on this bandwagon of invalidating what she went through. And to anyone out there who's a DV victim, just know that the amount of time that you stayed with that partner does not invalidate your experience. Because you kept going back to them, even if there's parts of you that still love them and they gave you the most traumatic experiences alive, it does not mean that you're a horrible person, that you're like, don't judge yourself. Trauma makes you think and do the most craziest things that sometimes we don't even understand at first. But it does not mean that your experience is immediately invalidated. But that's everything in regards to that topic of conversation of the myth of the perfect victim, because there's no such thing as the perfect victim. And ouch, I remember last time I was on my elbow for so long and it's hurting again. But yeah, honestly, it was just very eye-opening. The amount of people that were just, like, judging Cassie and being like, oh my God, like, she's not a victim. But then Justin Bieber, everyone's like, oh yes, he is a victim, even if he doesn't tell us. Oh, so you're giving him that amount of validation that he's a victim, which rightfully so. But then why is Cassie exempt? I don't get it. I don't like it at all for 1 second. But yeah, that is everything. I love you guys so much for tuning in for today's podcast episode conversation. Just life updates. Like I was mentioning earlier, why life has just been so crazy for me lately. It's just been, like, a lot. Life has been a lot. Family health issues has been, like, one thing that's just been a lot. And then it's like, every time lately I've been trying to get my life together, like, something's just been like hitting the fan. Like, I've been wanting to go back to the gym. Like, well, for starters, I finally have everything moved out of my roommate's, like, place, so that's really, really cool. And I said really cool in a sense, was like, I'm finally entering a new chapter in my life, where that chapter in my life is behind me. I wish my older roommate nothing but the best. And it's like, once I moved in with my sister, I really was like, I'm gonna go back to my normal routine. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna be making my podcast episodes, making my TikToks, like, just trying to make new content, stepping into new, like, meeting new people. Like, I don't know, there's so many things. I've been wanting to get a new job, but then it's like, as of lately, oh my God, I've been so sleep deprived, so stressed. It's just been so much on my plate. But at the same time, it's like, I've been still trying to make no excuses for myself. It's like, okay, I don't care how busy I've been. Like, I still want to make content. I still want to, like explore things that I've always been afraid of doing. I've been wanting to make music for the longest time. I've been, wanting to make makeup videos again, like makeup and yap videos. That's something I always loved doing. Like doing the things that I never cared about getting views for. Because then magnetically, like, magically, I don't know why I said magnetically, magically, I would end up getting, like, when I first started my TikTok ever, it was literally Ali rants because I just wanted to rant about shit. And then I blew up. And it's been what, 2-3 years now? It's been a while. Wow. And then my podcast, it's a continuous, like, it's like basically a longer form of that. Like when people are like, what's your podcast about? I'm like, it's just a bitch. I'm just a bitch with a microphone, honestly. Like, I like to have deep conversations about pop culture things, or like, I don't know, perspectives and things I want to share with the world, or I don't know. It's always been my dream to be someone's comfort content creator. I don't want to say influencer. I would definitely like the word content creator. And one day I would love to, come from content creator to artist. Like, that would be my greatest heart's desire, is to be content creator then artist, because I love creating in a way that no one will be able to understand. It's like my heart's greatest desire. And yeah, like, life has just been so crazy. And I'm doing okay though. Like, I feel very distant from everyone that I love because, like, of how crazy and chaotic my life has been. But at the same time, like, I've been really just trying to practice, like, being as present as I possibly can, and not getting, like, wrapped up in things, because there's times I'll be so busy and I'll be like, I feel so disconnected from creating content. Like, I'll try to be immediately, like, bringing myself to the present moment. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm okay. The world is not ending because I didn't post a podcast episode. The world's not ending because I didn't make a TikTok. Like, it's the way that my brain used to operate like that. It was, like, so crazy for the longest time. But yeah, everything, like, health issues in my family's been, like, very scary and tough. But I've just been really pulling through and just, like, putting one foot in front of the other and just, like, trying to be as strong as I possibly can. It's been a lot. It's been very overwhelming, but I know that everything's going to be okay. And yeah, I think that's everything. I love you guys so, so much. And if you're watching this on the podcast YouTube channel, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below your thoughts on the situation and the conversation that was just had, or even just your thoughts on the Diddy and Cassie trial, and just what your thoughts are on all of that and all the opinions people have shared online. And if you're a victim, I love you so much. You are valid. Your story is valid. Do not ever let anyone invalidate your experience, because it's very real and it happened. And whatever you've done afterwards doesn't take away what was done to you. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure to give it 5 stars rating, because it will help me so much. And make sure to subscribe to the Spotify podcast. Yeah. Sorry, my brain is like literal mush right now. I'm so exhausted, out of my mind. But I really wanted to have this episode up for you guys because I love you that much, okay? You guys are my besties and I love you so much. You are validated, you are beautiful, and you're on the path that you need to be on, okay? And obviously, subscribe to this channel if I didn't say that already, because obviously, I want to see more of you. That's how you know I'm tired. I'm not making any sense right now. I want you to see more of me just as much as I want to see more of you if you comment and actually engage in my content, okay? Yeah, I love you so much. I'm tired. I should literally log out immediately and go to sleep. And that's probably what I'm going to do. But I love you. And check out all my social medias in the description. I love you. Like I said, for the 50th billionth time. And I'll see you in the next podcast episode. Bye-bye.